Good morning, Karin.
All right. Today, thank you so much for jumping on this podcast with me today. I want to talk to you about VA loans. In the past, VA loans have received kind of a bad rap with agents because the Veterans Administration would make agents and sellers do a lot of work to the house. And so that's a big old misconception. And I think things have changed and modified. Tell us what's going on in the VA loan world.
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for having me on. VA loan is a great loan. As a seller, you should want to take a VA loan, right? And a lot of people have misconceptions because they are 100% financing, that those borrowers are sometimes less qualified. But actually, I find it to be opposite. Sometimes they're actually better qualified and they can go conventional financing, but they've earned this right by serving our country. And so why not use this benefit that they've, put their lives in on the line for?
Right.
And, VA loans are great. We can go up to $4 million, 0%, zero down, right? It's fantastic. Rates are better than conventional, and they're a lot more competitive. Some of the downsides that we used to see, like you pointed out, was the house had to be certain things. The buyers couldn't pay for certain things, but the VA is kind of getting better and understanding the market that we were in, where it was super competitive, and the market's kind of shifted a little bit better for us. But the VA they want to help the veteran, right? So
Right.
if there's an issue at the home, we can, as long as it's not a health or safety issue, there's ways to bypass those concerns by going directly to the VA themselves, right? There's a hotline that we're able to reach out to that allows us to say, hey, this appraiser called this. We want to bypass it. The veterans are willing to, take the home as is, and you could actually close without that, right? So they're shifting their mindset of, making veterans more competitive in the market, which helps sellers, right? Because why wouldn't you want to take the veterans home? Right? Why wouldn't you want to help them?
Right. Right. Absolutely.
And to me, like they've done so much for our country, and like sometimes like they get a negative connotation about a VA loan. Oh, I don't want to take that. Well, as for me, if I'm selling my home and I have a veteran that's given their life to protect the freedoms that we have, I want them to succeed. I would prefer to be able to help them as much as we can. I do a lot of VA loans, and there's a lot of misconceptions, right? There's no true DTI limit, right? So there's no FICO score limit, and there's no DTI. So it's all about residual income. So there's a lot more ways to get VAs qualified. There are a lot stronger buyers because they're guaranteed by the VA administration, right? Where It's not just some other bank. So, as a lender here at Barrett Financial, as a broker, we have banks that write strictly to the VA guidelines, right? There's no overlays. Some banks have overlays where like you can't do this, you can't do that. If it makes sense in the VA guidelines, then that's how we write it to. So we're able to get VA loans done quicker, faster, easier. And now that appraisals have caught up, like my average turn time for a VA loan is less than 20 days. So they're quick, they're easy to write because they're cut and dry, and the VA is guaranteeing them. So you don't have to worry about DTI issues. You don't have to worry about, they have a low FICO or whatever the concern is. They're a lot better of a program that I like to make sense for today's market.
Did you just say you can get a VA done in 20 days?
Yeah, my average last month was about 10 days, but I like to say 20 days because sometimes you have title, sometimes you have, negotiations for repairs. But normally if you order the appraisal day one, you're going to have it back in 2 weeks, and then you should be able at that point already be cleared. The files are clean. They're veterans, so they usually have good, decent credit. They have good income. They usually have VA disability income. So there's a lot of factors that play into it as far as qualifications that we have for veterans that you may not have for traditional buyers.
Vince, you and I have been friends for years and years and years. And I'm just going to be real honest with you about VA loans that we used to see. It used to be that we didn't want to take VA loans on homes that needed repairs because the seller would have given closing costs or a lower price, and they weren't going to do anything else. So it created a lot of stress with the transaction. How has that changed in this current market?
Yeah. So obviously we've seen, sellers are more willing to work on, the negotiations. A year ago, maybe not so, where sellers like they have 45 offers. We're just gonna take like we just want you to write over your firstborn son, and that's how we get the house, right? That's what we were dealing with, right? So you had to be super strong in your terms, and that's why partnering with a great realtor that understands that market really matters, right? Now, sellers are willing to work with you. So there, you don't have to have a brand new turnkey home to make it VA eligible. It's really more about health and safety. Yes, the one hurdle is a pest inspection, right? But normally most people that take care of their homes have the upkeep, right? So those homes shouldn't be that big of a deal to go VA. And lenders, as a lender, you're able to work around and try to help. The agent can help if the seller doesn't want to pay for the pest inspection. There's ways to get that process done, that and the ultimate goal of closing the home, making the buyer and seller whole, it's doable now, where maybe 6 8 months ago it was a little tougher. But at the end of the day, it's in a better market where I think everybody understands that at the end of the day we all have the same common goal, is to sell and buy homes, right? And that's
I
me
can't
as a ground.
imagine a better market for veterans than right now because they have the ability to do 100% loan. Um, if they want to, are those loans still assumable down the road?
Yes, so VA loans are still assumable, and so the rates are still better than traditional conventional financing
Mhm.
today. But let's say rates continue to go upwards, and people buy today, but then they want to go sell in 2 3 years, and the rates higher. They can't. That buyer can't assume that loan. So that's a great benefit that other
Mhm.
loans don't traditionally have.
Is the assumable loan available just to veterans or to anybody down the road?
It's available to veterans because you're assuming the Veteran Administration loan. So,
Okay.
yeah. So let's say today's rates on a VA are mid fours. It's just hypothetical. I'm not quoting a rate, but let's just say hypothetical. But let's say in a year or 2 years that rate is now upper fives, right? We don't know where the market's going. But another veteran wants to buy that home, they can assume that property as long as they have the entitlement that allows them to purchase that property.
Wow. Okay. And you said 20 days, you're getting them done in 20 days. Is that from application to close, or is that from what point of the process?
That's from the day you give me a contract to the day we close. I was a realtor, as you knew, for many years, so I understand the frustration of like showing buyers that aren't fully qualified to buy a home, because it takes time, it takes time from your family, it takes money to go people and show people homes. And the last thing as a realtor that I hated was, I'm showing you homes, I get you into contract, and then 3 weeks out in the contract we can't close. Well, how did you not
Right.
know that, right? So
Right.
I don't pre-approve without a full package. So when I give you a pre-approval, I'm ready to submit to underwriting that day. So that way it expedites the process. And a lot of times, like my agents that I work with, they love it because, like, if we can get you a CTC in 5 6 7 days before
Clear
you
to
do
close. Say
clear to close. Oh, sorry,
clear.
CTC lingo. Clear to close, meaning that you've gone through the underwriting process and you're able to close on the loan before you've even negotiated for repairs or concessions or whatever. That gives you as a buyer's agent a leg up, right? Because you can go to the seller and say, we want these things taken care of, and our buyer is already done and ready to close, right? So anytime we can speed up that process, it allows you to have more leverage as an agent, which then allows you to better the veteran or your buyer in general.
I know if I know somebody is pre-approved completely through the underwriting process, I'm much more likely to say this is the one I would take, even over cash sometimes, because somebody who has to buy a house is in a better position to make sure that transaction happens. And somebody with cash, if something else comes along, they don't really care. So I love veterans, as you know, and I have a real heart for those who've served our country. I'm so freaking super grateful because I never had the courage to do that. And I've never had the courage to put my life on the line for others, except maybe, my children. And so the gratitude that I have for veterans, for law enforcement is pretty substantial. And thank you for your service too, by the way. I love you.
I love you
Okay.
too.
So repairs. Do a real quick chat because I want to be on and off of here pretty quickly on this topic. But tell me one thing, repairs, what are you seeing for repairs? What would you not recommend us putting under contract for a veteran? And what gets approved pretty easily with no repairs?
Yeah, so the biggest one, obviously, you got to have a clean Section 1 or Section A pest report, right? Making sure there's no active infestation.
No termites.
No termites, all that,
No wood.
basic
We
stuff.
have wood bees here.
Wood bees, wood rot, things like that. Yeah. I mean, as a seller, you want to take care of that at the beginning, especially because it's going to make the process smoother. But as long as there's no major health and safety issues, that's the big factor, right? No open electrical that can cause fires. No major, like if you have stairs that don't have railings, right? Like that's unsafe, right? Like those are the things that are going to get called out because they don't want to give a loan to a veteran that's an unsafe, uninhabitable home, right? And so that's why, because the Veteran Administration is guaranteeing that loan in case of default, which is why they, have great rates, why they can do 100% financing. So the risk really falls on the government entity. So they want to make sure that the home is clean and healthy and safe and habitable. So 95% of the homes, that are normally lived in are usually not going to have an issue, right? If you maintain your home as a seller, you're going to be fine. Work with the agent that knows the process as a great listing agent and a buyer agent that understands it. They're going to be able to advise you on before you list the home what you need to do, and then that way the process just goes smoothly, and that way you can just go and get closed and go move on with your life. That's really the goal.
And how can folks reach you if they want to do a quick process with a VA loan? Because I love you and I trust you, and I put my stamp of approval on you. And you serve what states right now?
Yeah, so I'm licensed in California, Texas, North Carolina, Florida, Tennessee, and Idaho's coming. I have a couple more states in the works, so they're on
Idaho.
Idaho. Hey, people are relocating. I'm originally from California, so I understand the part of the relocation. A lot of military people relocate a lot. So we want to be able to be that resource for people that are going through that stressful time of relocation, right? But you can reach me through my phone number or my website. My phone number is 469-712-3915. You can message me on Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm available. My team's available. We would love to have conversations of how we can be an asset to you in your real estate business. And at the end of the day, we just all want to help homeowners and sellers and be a part of the process.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you for jumping on with me today for our real estate minutes for Titans of Real Estate.
Thanks for having me.
I will. I'll jump back on with you to do another broadcast very, very soon.
All right, Karin. Thank you.
Thanks, Vince. Bye.
Bye.